Part 1. The beginning of the climb. The town of Motivational nestled quietly between two mighty mountain ranges. Most of its inhabitants were content with their peaceful routines, living modestly and embracing the rhythm of seasons. But one soul in Motivational burned with a fire that wouldn't fade. Ayan, a 22-year-old with a dream too big for the valley. Ayan had grown up listening to stories of the summit of Solara, a peak said to be so high it kissed the stars. No one from Motivational had ever reached it. Many had tried, some turned back halfway, some never returned, and the rest simply never dared. Ayan's father was among those who tried and failed. It wasn't just about the mountain. For Ayan, the summit was a symbol of something bigger, a life that meant more than survival. His village saw ambition as arrogance, but Ayan saw it as hope. "Why do you want to climb it?" his mother asked one chilly morning as she packed his rucksack. "Because I need to know I can," he replied. He left at dawn, the sky painted in hues of orange and gold, a perfect metaphor for his journey, a chase for the light above the clouds. Part 2. The obstacles. The first leg of the journey was deceptively simple. The lower slopes were covered in green meadows, friendly wildlife, and sunshine. Ayan felt unstoppable. He kept a journal, writing daily entries full of hope. But soon the landscape changed. Meadows turned to rocky trails. Gentle breezes became biting winds. On the fourth night, a storm broke out. Lightning flashed like angry tears across the sky, and Ayan took shelter under a ledge, trembling but undeterred. He met his first real test on day 10, a sheer cliff face that needed climbing. With raw hands, bleeding knuckles, and aching shoulders, Ayan pulled himself up inch by inch. Halfway up, a rock broke loose, and he dangled precariously from a rope. Fear paralyzed him. Is this the end? Then he remembered a phrase his father had written in a notebook. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but action despite it. With that, he pushed past the terror, found a new foothold, and made it to the top. He laughed, not because he was safe, but because he realized fear hadn't won. Part 3. The Darkest Valley. On day 15, the journey took him into what locals called the Shadow Gully, a narrow path between two steep walls where sunlight rarely reached. There, he encountered his most formidable challenge: loneliness. No birds, no wind, no signs of life, only the sound of his own breath and footsteps. His food supplies dwindled, his water froze, his body grew weaker. One night, as snow fell gently and the stars looked impossibly far, Ayan broke. He sobbed into the frozen earth. "Why am I doing this?" he cried. "No one will even know if I fail or succeed." But then he heard a voice, not from outside, but inside him. "You're doing this because you chose to. That's enough." He remembered everyone who doubted him, everyone who said he should just accept life as it was. But more importantly, he remembered his own promise. "I will climb this mountain, not because it's easy, but because it's mine to climb." Part 4. The Stranger. On day 22, barely able to stand, Ayan came across a small cave. Inside, a fire flickered, and to his shock, there was a man, old, bearded, with eyes like weathered stone. "Sit," the man said simply. "You've come far." The old man introduced himself as Curran, a former mountaineer who once attempted Solara, but settled in the cave when he lost his best friend during their expedition. Ayan stayed 3 days. Curran fed him, taught him how to warm snow for water, how to listen to the wind, to avoid avalanches, and most importantly, how to silence the noise in the mind. "Everyone climbs with a pack on their back," Curran said, "but the heavier pack is the one in here." He pointed to Ayan's heart. When Ayan left, Curran gave him a compass. "It doesn't point north. It points true to your truth." Part 5. The Final Ascent. The summit was now visible, a jagged crown of ice piercing the sky. But the final stretch was brutal. Oxygen was scarce. Every step felt like a marathon. The cold was bone-deep. On day 30, he reached what climbers call the death zone, altitudes where the body starts shutting down. He wanted to quit so badly, But quitting meant betraying every step before. So he chose one step at a time. He stopped thinking about the summit. He focused only on the next step, then the next, and finally, on the 33rd day, he stood at the summit. He wept, not because he made it, but because of who he had become. Part 6. The return. Coming down was faster, but no less dangerous. When Ion returned to Muraglin, his beard thick and face sunburnt, most villagers gasped. "You made it!" He nodded quietly. A boy asked him, "Was it worth it?" Ion smiled. "No one can tell you the value of a dream. You find it only when you chase it." But yes, it was worth every fall, every scar, every tear. The town changed. People no longer mocked the idea of big dreams. Children pointed at the mountain not with fear, but with wonder. Ion started guiding others, not to the summit, but to their own dreams, whatever they were. And every time someone asked him for advice, he gave the same. Don't look at how far you have to go. Look at your next step. That's where strength lives. The story of Ion and the summit of Solara teaches us that success is not about reaching the top. It's about who you become on the way up. Takeaways. Dreams are personal. You don't need the world's approval to chase your dream. If it matters to you, that's enough reason to pursue it. Fear is part of the journey. Fear doesn't mean you're weak. Courage is acting despite fear. Progress is step by step. Huge goals are conquered one small, determined step at a time. Focus on what's right in front of you. Growth happens in struggle. The toughest moments, loneliness, failure, exhaustion, are where the real transformation happens. You inspire by action. When you chase your dreams, you give others permission to believe in theirs. Success multiplies when it's shared. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.